abomination. Hebrew kingdom building.
But who all read the Torah portion? Oh man, hold up. You did too, Nasita? Hey, you read it though. Hey, you read it. I think we 100%. Oh. 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 I was about to say the roar. I was about to roar at the roar. I think we 100%. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah and Yahusha. So, I mean, it was short. It was 2 chapters. We should be 100%, huh? Should we clap about that? 2 chapters? Y'all should be 100%, huh?
It was like 70 verses.
All right, so
I'm setting them expectations.
but basically, Vayikra 19, y'all, or Leviticus 19, it goes into all these different laws, and we pretty much cover that every year. All the different a lot of the different laws. As far as the commandments, it's Torah portion Kedoshim. And y'all know who the Kodashim is. It's just a different way of saying Kodashim. It's really what it is. Kedoshim is a different way of saying Kodashim. What you got? Huh? The Holy One, yeah. Kodashim, the Holy Ones. The Kodesh ones. And so what this Torah portion is basically showing what it means to be Kodesh. Because people always say be holy, right? But what does that really mean? What does it mean to be holy? Yahuwah says be set apart. In the scriptures, he says be holy, because he said, therefore I am holy, something like that. Be perfect, because for I am holy, as I am holy. When the woman, she had got caught in some sort of, I think it was some sort of something. Was it adultery? No, well, they accused it. Yeah. It was adultery, wasn't it? And he told her to go and sin no more. There was also something where he said to be perfect. You know, all these things like that. But then we're like, well, what does it mean? How do you do that? You see what I'm saying? And
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Can we quiet down just a little bit, please?
But the way to be holy, it tells you exactly how in the Torah. That's why when you read the Brit Hadashah, they don't tell you how, because they assume that you read Torah. They assume that you have studied Torah. See, we had this whole we had this stuff discombobulated and confused, believing that we can read all the scriptures except Torah and understand the scriptures when the Torah is the foundation. This is why we read Torah every Shabbat. That's why we go into it every week, because we know that if you understand Torah, you'll understand all the rest of the scriptures when you read it, because the Torah is the foundation. You get what I'm saying? When the people in the scriptures and the Brit Hadashah are speaking, they're assuming you know that the Torah is supposed to be, like they call the Torah the schoolmaster in the scriptures. That's supposed to be elementary. They call the Torah the milk of the word in the scriptures. That's the milk. That's supposed to be the elementary stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we go diving head first in the pseudepigrapha and don't know Torah. We trying to break down the book of Enoch. Ain't read no Torah, man. Wild, and wonder why there's all these weird stuff coming out, all these weird doctrines coming out. Somebody done read Enoch without no Torah foundation, and they done came up with this whole new doctrine. For real. It's wild, man. So this is why we go into Torah every week. It's the foundation. How can you build a house without a proper foundation? You know what I'm saying? How can you build a kingdom without a proper foundation? Y'all, the Torah is designed to run a kingdom. The Torah is designed to run a nation off of. The Torah is the foundation. The Torah is like our constitution. You know, the Torah for Babylon is the what they call it, the constitution. The what they call it. That's why people get mad when the Supreme Court makes a law and they're like, no, that is not constitutional. Because according to the Constitution and you know, Hebrews, I ain't never heard, well, let me state that. I can't remember hearing, Hebrews just don't care about the Constitution as much as we see the other nations do. In general, there's always exceptions, I know. In general, we don't be like that. Laws pull you over for no reason. You don't be like, hey, that's unconstitutional. What are you doing? The other nations do that for real. They'll throw the Constitution at them. Hey, man, what are you doing, man? I didn't even do nothing. Why are you pulling me over for? That's unconstitutional. What's your badge number? What's your badge number? We don't be doing that. We don't be doing that. They be breaking all kind of laws, all kind of constitutional laws when they pull us over. We just be like, man, why you always messing with us, man? Get on my nerves, bro. The Constitution is their Torah, man. It's their Torah. It's interesting, somebody saw a red, white, and blue bird. Red, white, and blue? Yeah, they had their colors too. You know, we got the different colors we got. And, you know, yeah. So, but what you notice is a big part of being Kodesh, of being holy. You notice there was almost most of chapter 20 was going into different things not to do surrounding sex. Different things that not to do, and how these are the judgments for anyone who do these things. Y'all notice that? That's y'all listen, like that took up most of chapter 20. It was about, look, if you commit adultery, the person who did it, the man and the woman, to be put to death. If you do, you lay with your, with your father's brother, or lay with your uncle, or something like that, or, auntie, or whatever. That's, you be cut off from them, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Even goes into animals. That don't seem like something that would have to be a Torah, would it? Right. It absolutely did. You know why? Because that's what was going on out there. You can tell a lot about what was going on during that time by the Torah that Yahuwah had put out for them. That was what was going on, y'all. That's what was going on in Refraining, man. That's what was going on in the land that they was about to take it. The Canaanite people groups, they was on that, man. They was on that. These are the ways of the other nations. This is why we have to, in order to be set apart. So when Yahuwah tells us to be holy, he's literally telling us what that means is you're supposed to be set apart. But then what does that mean? Set apart from who, right? You're supposed to be set apart from the ways of the nations. That's what it means to be holy. All you got to do is read Torah, and as you'll see, that's exactly what it means. We try to guess what it means to be holy. You don't have to do that. It means to be set apart from the ways of the nations. All the nations are pretty much in unison with the way they move in a lot of ways. We don't realize that. All the nations are given over to things like sexual immorality, idolatry. All of them, all the nations, all of them, all 100% of them. So if you want to be set apart, that's what these chapters in this Torah portion are focusing on. Honoring your mother and father. That's how you be set apart. Y'all know how it is. Y'all see the other nations, they be like, I hate you. I told you about when I was growing up, I had the white friend. I went over his house one time. I was like, what? I hate you. Ah. He didn't get killed yet. I'm like, man. That was a culture shock, boy. I was in Germany. It's one of my homeboys, man, white guy. We were in middle school, man. Went over his house. Honor your mother, because that's the ways of the other nations. They dishonor, mother and father. Rebellion is normal. That's why in Babylon, I hate the president. They have a whole campaign, bump Donald Trump. It's the cuss word, though. Bump Donald Trump. He's supposed to be the head of y'all nation. He's supposed to be the head of y'all. I know, I understand. I know You know, but I mean, if y'all supposed to be really down with y'all kingdom and all this, it's an honor thing. But it's because in Babylon, dishonoring your heads it's normal. That's what it is. That's how it goes. Oh yeah, dishonoring your mother and father. Oh, normal. I know. It was one. I haven't seen this in real life, but I'm pretty sure this was real. It was in. I think it was one of them talk shows, them daytime shows with a little child. He had hit his mama.
Oh, yeah.
He slapped his mama. I think I played it in here one time. It was Dr. Phil. Cause the mama had brought her son on, and she just like, I just don't know what to do with Jimmy. He's so out of control. And they showed a video clip, and he slapped his mama, man. Oh, that's what it was. They had a camera in the back room. You saw that? But my point is, so to be set apart is to be a people of honor. Well, you honor your parents. Well, why do y'all think the Moleks was so big about bowing down and doing these customs that we have as a nation? Like, it's bringing back honor. It's bringing back respect. These are the ways of the Most High. It's bringing back order. It's bringing back ahava. Because what had happened is we adopted the ways of the other nations. That was never of our custom to be disrespectful towards the heads, disrespectful toward the parent. What happened was once we came in here, and it wasn't really until after integration where it really got bad. We were pushing for integration, you know, Martin Luther King pushing for integration. Oh man, it's the civil rights. We want to, you know what we're really saying? We want to be like the other nations. Why we got to be set apart for? We want to be like them. That's what we were saying. And we thought it was a thug thing. We thought it was a righteous thing when really, when you look at it in the Most High's eyes, that was probably the worst thing, because after that, everything went left. We were way worse off. Way worse off. For real. Yeah, man. So let's look at some scriptures. All right, let's go to Bakira Luf. Let's go to Vayikra 20. Let's go there first. Trying to get through this pretty quick. And let's start with verse yeah, just go ahead and go. Start with verse 1.
Okay, Leviticus chapter 20. Everybody there? Hallelujah. Then Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, again, you shall say to the children of Israel, whoever of the children of Israel or of the strangers who dwell in Israel, who gives any of his descendants to Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones.
So, what this is showing, one thing about being holy, because remember this is Torah portion Kedoshim. One thing about being holy is that there's a certain way you got to be with your children. Yahuwah's looking at how we raise our children. That's what this is talking about. Like anyone who gives their children over to Molech shall surely be put to death, y'all. And so we automatically assume giving your children a Molech is like, you know, making them sacrificing your child or something like that. But yeah, man, a lot of people in Babylon sacrifice their children every day. They give them over to the sports system. They give them over to some other Babylonian system. Literally braise them up in it so that they totally given over to that thing. And what happens is they grow up and let's say they make it, which is that's a small percentage, but we're Hebrews. So there's a small percentage, but it's a higher percentage than most of the other nations. They make it to the league, make it to the NBA or something like that. Okay, all praise to the Most High. You're rich, you're wealthy, but how many people who make it to the NBA actually serving Yahuwah? You're rich, you're wealthy, and you're given over to the ways of Babylon. giving over to idolatry, giving over to some sort of, and this is the thing. I'm just using the NBA as just one example, but this is anything like that, similar to that, entertainment industry, you name it. Yeah. They usually 9 times out of 10, you're not even gonna get that high without making some sort of oaths or pacts. They're not gonna. You think they gonna give you all that money without having some sort of control on how you move, who you gonna marry? That's too much power. I'm gonna give you millions of dollars. I'm gonna pay you millions. What if you turn and say, I'm gonna serve the Most High and we're gonna build this kingdom with this money? For real. You think they gonna? You don't think they know that? Oh man, these is Hebrews, man. They might can change, flip, and with all this power of money, that's too much power. They can actually make it. No, you got to make some oaths and pacts, blood oaths. You gotta pledge allegiance to Babylon or whatever we want you to before we pay you this money. And that's so you want your children so bad to be an NBA player, be an NFL player, to be the next top model, to be whatever. And you literally giving them over to another allure by doing that. You sacrificing them. And so, because we had this, man, we had people in the past. Not now, this is in the past, who were faithful in the assembly and thought they was on. I thought they was on fire. We thought most of us thought it was on fire for the Most High because they were faithful, but it was a red flag by the way they was moving with their children. Like, man, how come your son ain't coming to Shabbat? Oh, you know.
We try and let him decide.
Yeah. Man. Well, John, man, he had that volleyball tournament, you know what I'm saying? So he's going to be out the next 4 Shabbats. Yeah, nah. That's a red flag. Because if you really believe this thing, if you really, really believe this thing, of what we doing, you'll do everything in your power to make sure that your children are raised up in this too. Not raised up in the ways of the other nations. There's nothing wrong with volleyball. It's not. There's nothing wrong with sports. But when it turns into where it's trumping the things of Yahuwah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want y'all to get me wrong. Cause I'll go out there, man. I'll get out. I'll play some basketball, I'll get out there. I'll hoop. We'll go in the boxing gym, the boxing ring. We'll do all that. But that's a whole nother level when you're talking about that's trumping the things of Yahuwah, though. That's a whole different thing right there. And I can tell y'all from experience. So I raised several super athletes. So I remember it was a struggle at first. I was juggling too. Okay, this game is on Shabbat. So man, you just gonna have to tell him that you can't make it. And, you want him to be able to start. You had this because After about 3 or 4 Shabbats games he missed, now the coach want him on the bench. You know what I'm saying? And you just had to deal with that. Like, man, you just gotta, you can't do Shabbats, man. You can't. You do every other game. And with all praise to the Most High, because it worked out. It worked out for the Thug. So, again, when it comes to being Kodesh, when it comes to being holy, you also got to look at how you're moving with your seed, with your children, because that's what Yahuwah's looking at. All right, let's keep going. Keep going.
Verse 3, I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from his people.
Is he talking about the child? He talking about the parents, ain't he?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep going.
Because he has given some of his descendants to Molech to defile my sanctuary and profane my Kodesh name. And if the people on the land should in any way hide their eyes from the man, when he gives some of his descendants to Molech, and they do not kill him, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off from his people, and all who prostitute themselves with him to commit harlotry with Molech.
So this is, in a sense, sexual immorality. It's a ruachal sexual immorality, in a sense. It's like a spiritual sexual immorality. It's a spirit. They call it spiritual harlotry. This is harlotry. So idolatry is a form of harlotry in a sense. You get what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 6. And the person who turns to mediums and familiar spirits to prostitute himself with them, I will set my face against that person and cut him off from his people.
What's a familiar spirit? It's a ruach that you're familiar with. It is. So let's say you sleeping. There you go. You know, you sleeping. You having a dream, and something that comes and lays with you. They might look like your spouse, and you having sex in your dreams with somebody that you, maybe it's somebody who is your current spouse. Maybe it's somebody who you've been with years ago. You know, it could come. It's a familiar spirit. It could come. Let's say you had a movie star that you always thought was so beautiful or something. Growing up, just, you know, insert some movie star that you always thought was beautiful, come visit you in your dream and lay with you. It's a familiar spirit. That ain't really that person. You see what I'm saying? That's always stuff you got to watch out for, you know, renounce and denounce. You know, the best thing to do is to get strong enough to where you have enough, you know, control where you can rebuke the ruach while you're in the dream. You can do that. But sometimes if you just get caught all the way slipping and you end up doing something, you gotta, man, immediately renounce and denounce that, because it's a ruach trying to make a covenant with you. It's a lot of times it could be a spirit spouse, like Ox said, trying to forge like a marriage type of ruach marriage covenant with you. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going.
Verse 7. Consecrate yourselves, therefore, and be Kodesh.
Right.
For I am Yahuwah, your Eluah.
See, this is how you be Kodesh. This is how you be Kodesh, is to refrain from sexual immorality, y'all. Sir. This is how you be Kodesh. Y'all, if you just refrain from that alone, that's going to make you Kodesh. This is what all the other nations are giving over. They're giving over to it. Everybody else. Sir. Everybody else. Everybody is giving over to this. Let's keep going.
Verse 8. And you shall keep my statutes and perform them. I am Yahuwah, who sanctifies you. For everyone who curses his father or mother shall surely be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him.
Y'all see that? No, it ain't no whooping. According to Torah, it'll be put to death. So you can imagine, in ancient Israel, wasn't nobody, I can't think of any, oh yeah, I can think of a couple, actually. I was about to say I can't think of any examples where someone had to be put to death for cursing their mother and father, but I would say the dude who got caught gathering sticks, that could be a possibility, because they said that I got two things mixed up. There was an Israelite fighting an Egyptian, and the Egyptian had blasphemed the Most High, and he got put to death for that. And you can put that under this, in a sense. And then you had Eli, the high priest. That's his name.
Eli, yep.
The sons of Eli were out there. You know, they was wilding. You know, they was laying with the women that were standing at the temple door, and doing these things. And Eli, there was like a judgment on Eli for not handling that. I think his sons probably was supposed to be put to death for that. You know. Yeah. But nevertheless, let's keep going. Verse 10.
The man who commits adultery with another man's wife. He who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress, should surely be put to death.
Y'all see that? The adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. So what if it's only the adulteress there? What if they say, hey, we caught this adulteress in adultery. Look at her. See? What you gonna do? Remember they did Yahusha like that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What you gonna do? Ain't you supposed to stone them according to Torah? Remember they came to Yahusha, they were like, what we supposed to do according to Torah? And Yahusha didn't give him the green light to stone him, right? Why? Where was the adulterer? Everything wasn't in place for that to move, for that to be justified. Because see, in that day, during the days of the Brit Hadashah, man, there was a lot of corruption going on in the court systems of Israel. There were bad judgments being made. A lot of times there was a lot of partiality being made towards the men. Especially when you're talking about the nobility of like the Pharisaic order, man, they was committing adultery like a mug. They wasn't being, and I really believe they probably was getting slipping through the cracks all the time because of who they are, while women were getting stoned to death. That's why in Torah, Yahuwah knows what his wisdom knows. It has to be both, and it has to be both. It has to be both. It has to be both. Even in the situation when Mary, Yahusha's mother, remember when Miriam was conceived with Yahusha? And Joseph had to hide her because they were afraid. I think he believed that they were going to try to, judge her and have her put to death or something. Because she was married to Joseph. But again, it's supposed to be the woman and the man there. So why would he be worried if he knew there wasn't no man involved that could come and say, that they can have two witnesses against and say, hey, yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So there was some unjust stuff going on with the judgments during that time. Let's keep going.
All right, verse 11. The man who lies with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have committed perversion. Their blood shall be upon them. Verse 13, if a man lies with a male as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination.
All right, so and when you keep reading, it goes through all these different things that you're not supposed to do as far as from this, from the sexual perspective. And it goes into the judgments. If you do these things, this is the judgment. Most of it, they're going to be put to death. They're supposed to be put to death. That's most of the judgments. Some of them is specific. Some, okay, if they do this, they will be burned with the fire. I'm like, man. That was a judgment. They'll be cut off from the people. One of the judgments, they need to be cut off in front of everybody. They need to be, cut off in front of everybody. But these are all related to some sort of sex act that's forbidden. Okay, so then it goes into all these things. Now go to read verse 22.
Verse 22. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments.
All my what?
Judgments.
So, yeah, you're supposed to keep his laws, his statutes, his commandments, his judgments, and his charge. You're supposed to keep all of those things. That's what made Abraham so special, is because he kept all of those things. So the judgments means, hey, if someone does these things, this is the judgment. This has to happen. If someone does this, this has to happen to them. That's the judgment. What the judgments are. You get what I'm saying? You must keep my judgments. Malek been talking about this a lot. The reality, a lot of people, they just hate Yahuwah's judgments. They hate judgment. That's another thing that makes us set apart, is that you love Yahuwah's judgments. You love his laws. All right, keep going. Verse 22. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do what?
And perform them.
And do what?
That the land where I'm bringing you to dwell may not vomit you out.
That the land where I'm bringing you to dwell may not vomit you out. That is why we got vomited out of the promised land. Why we got kicked out. Because we was in all kind of sexual immorality, all kind of abomination, all kind of iniquity. Verse 23.
And you shall not walk in the statutes of the nations which I am casting out before you.
Y'all see the contrast? You're supposed to walk in my statutes, not in the same statutes of the nations that I'm casting out before you. So that's what being holy means. Kedoshim, being set apart from the ways of the other nations. Keep going.
For they commit all these things, and therefore I abhor them.
Yahuwah abhors those who commits those things we just read up above. So why do you think you can just do those things and say, I'm sorry, and you're going to be through with the Most High? Most High going to be through with it. When he has a whole system set up with his kingdom to where if somebody do those, a lot of those things, they'd be put to death. Let's keep going.
Verse 24. But I have said to you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey.
A land flowing with milk, that's Torah, and honey. Honey is Torah as well, but I submit honey is like the deeper things of the Torah. We were talking about this on the way to Florida with Bakir Ezra and some of y'all, both of the Bakir Ezra, about honey, how you know that babies, doctors tell you that babies shouldn't eat honey until they're a certain age, I think until they're like 3 or something like that, till they're 2, after 2. But when the baby's first born, they can tear up the milk, right?
Yes, sir.
That's why when you're a babe in this walk, you should not be skipping to honey. Because if you were just born and you're trying to eat honey, the deeper things of the scriptures, it can mess you up. I think it could cause death. Botulism, so deep sickness. If you're a newborn, you're an infant, literally an infant newborn, and you're trying to eat solid food, that can that can kill the infant. You know, it can get choked or something like that. That's what we see all the time. You have people that are babes in this walk, and they trying to dive deep into all this other stuff without even really studying the Torah, taking time. You need to take years in the Torah, for real, years. Like they say, the baby can't even get to honey till after 2. No, we ain't talking about 3 months in the Torah. Now you think you're ready. The land flowing with milk and honey.
For they commit all these things.
No, start with verse 24.
24. But I have said to you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, who has separated you from the peoples.
Who has did what?
Separated you.
Yeah, that's how you be separate. That's how you be separate. Keep going. Well, we'll stay there. We'll stay there. So, all right. So, in order to be, so sexual immorality is one of the biggest ways to be holy, basically. It might be at the top. It might be the biggest way to be holy is to make sure that you fully abstain from sexual immorality. Let's go to Acts chapter 15. Everybody there? So we're going to skip down to the bottom. But in Acts chapter 15, the context is it was this whole debate over circumcision, whether circumcision should be required for those who were just coming into the walk. Okay, it wasn't an easy situation. It was a debate. They had to figure it out because you had all these new people coming in, people who were uncircumcised, people of other nations, and even people of Israel who were just uncircumcised. And there was this. You had believers who were saying, "Oh no, they can't. They got to be circumcised for salvation," and then you had other people who was like, "Yeah, I don't think so." So they went up to the elders. They had to go to Jerusalem to really figure this out, to really work this out. They went to the council in Jerusalem, and then skip down to verse 22 is going to give you the what was the no, not verse 22, verse 19. Let's start with verse 19. That's going to give you what they had decided on based on what the Most High showed them. Okay.
Everybody there?
Acts 15, verse 19. Let's do it.
Therefore, I judge that we should not trouble those from among the Gentiles who are turning to a lure, but that we write to them to abstain from the things polluted by idols.
To abstain from what? And wasn't that what started Leviticus 20? Not to yeah, right. Not to have your children go on to Molech. Not to get into, then it goes into not dealing with mediums, not dealing with idolatry, not dealing with different things like that, things that surround other allures. Then it goes into literal sexual immorality. So first it starts with spiritual sexual immorality, then it goes into like physical sexual immorality. So he says, but to abstain from things polluted by idols, and what else?
From sexual immorality.
From what?
Sexual immorality.
And from what?
From things strangled and from blood.
Y'all know that was the only things that the Gentiles who were coming in, that was the only Torah that they gave them.
Yep.
They said they don't have to be circumcised. These are the things that they got to do. They got to abstain from the idolatry. They got to abstain from sexual immorality. Wow. And things strangled. And from consuming blood. Now look at the next verse, verse 21. Why? Keep going.
For Moshe has had throughout many generations those who preach him in every city, being read in the synagogues every Shabbat.
Hallelujah. So because there was a big misunderstanding with a lot of people who read this, they felt we don't have to do Torah. This is all we got to do. As long as we're not doing sexual immorality, we through. And idolatry. No, it's when they first come in as babies.
Right.
They coming straight off from the world. They trying to naturalize them. They're trying to get them, in the kingdom. So right now, hey, just don't do any sexual immorality. Don't do any of that. Abstain. Don't eat blood anymore because they know that's the ways of the other nations. Don't do any of that. Why? Because y'all gonna learn the Torah anyway. The Torah is gonna be covered every Shabbat. Y'all gonna learn the Torah over time because it's gonna be read every Shabbat when y'all come to the synagogues. And that was the judgment. So what this is showing us the significance of sexual immorality, though, of how that was the main thing. That look, because that was the ways of the other nations. That was the main issue. So if you decide to move in sexual immorality, you're moving in the ways of the heathen. You're moving in the ways of the other nations. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to let's look at a couple of scriptures. 1 Corinthians 5, chapter 9. I'm sorry. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. Y'all be quick with the trigger. We're going to look at a couple of scriptures here. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9.
Everybody there? I wrote to you in my epistle not to keep company with sexual immoral people.
So you're not even supposed to keep company with people who moving like that.
Right.
Like you're not even supposed to be dealing with people that's moving like that, man. So that word for sexual or immoral here in the Greek is G4205, and that's the word what? Can anybody see it?
For immoral.
For sexual immoral.
205 pornos.
Say it again. Bakir Yamin. What is that word? pornos. So it's interesting that even in English, they call it pornography. It's just people who record themselves getting involved with some sort of sexual immorality. And so people be like, man, pornography ain't even in the scriptures, man. That ain't, you ain't actually doing it.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
You gotta look deeper.
Yep. What the book says.
It's right in there. That's why that's such a big thing in this kingdom. We don't deal with that. That's the ways of the other nations. All right. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18.
Everybody there. Flee sexual immorality. Sorry about that. Flee sexual immorality. Every sin that a man does is outside the body. But he who commits sexual immorality sins against his own body.
Now think about what he's saying though, because this could be saying more than what we think it's saying. Aren't we the body of Yahusha?
Yes, sir.
He who commits sexual immorality sins against his own body. Y'all listen. Whenever we know this. We dealt with this before. You got one person. We doing through. Man, the Most High's in the midst of us. All praise to the Most High. We ascending. One person slips into sexual immorality. Now the whole tribe, some sort of sickness or something flows across the whole tribe. One person dealing with sexual immorality. Now we having issues with ascending in praise and worship. The whole tribe. Because one who commits sexual immorality sins against the body. That's right. Yeah.
That would be Alua, or would that be?
We seen this. So we don't have to.
We ain't gotta guess.
Yeah, you don't gotta like try to be. Let me exegesis this. Hold on, let me.
Ain't gotta think about.
This has happened multiple times in the tribe. Multiple. Yeah. What verse was that?
18.
Oh. Let's skip up to verse 9.
Verse 9. Do you not know that the unrighteousness will not inherit the kingdom of Alua? Do not be deceived.
Do not be what?
Be deceived.
This is a major deception, y'all. So do not be deceived, y'all, on what he's about to say. Keep going.
Neither fornicators, nor adulterers, idolaters, nor adulterers, nor homosexuals,
Ooh.
nor sodomites,
Ooh.
nor thieves, nor covetous,
You through?
covetous,
That's through. Keep going.
nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners will inherit the kingdom of Alua.
Y'all hear this? Because that was a major deception. I kind of thought so too. I was deceived on this too when I was younger. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing, but man, I ask for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? I'm through, man. The Most High through with me, man. I know, sometimes, I backslid a couple times, but I ask for forgiveness. I'm through. Backslide like 5 times a year. You gonna make it in the kingdom? And no, that's a deception for real. Because the churches teach that. That's why the deception's so big. You know why? Because pastors are doing the same thing. Pastor dealing with the choir lady. He dealing with the choir lady, but He feel like he through because he asked for forgiveness. And then after doing it for 10 years, it gets caught. Something happens where it gets brought out to the light. That pastor was moving like this for the last 10 years. And he writes a long letter of apology, and he says he knows he's forgiven. For real. For real, for real. You know why these churches are joined with the other nations? That's why they do the same thing as the nations. Riddled with sexual immorality. The pastor, all the way from the top down, riddled with it. So how's that being set apart? How's that being Kodesh? It's not. But you know what? The whole congregation is riddled with sexual immorality too, because you know what they do? Oh, we forgive you, Pastor. And on to next Sunday.
Right. Right.
For real. Man, what's that one dude name? It tripped me out, man. He's like one of the most famous pastors out there. Nah. Oh, that one too. That's a whole that one's crazy.
There was one in Florida.
I'm talking about the one. He's still out there, fully active, man. He started implementing weed sales in his church.
Weed sales. What?
Y'all ain't heard of it?
Who was that?
He man, what's his name? He's in Maryland. He's in Baltimore, and I think he's still single. He's a dark-skinned dude, and he be on he real famous. He be on the reality shows and everything. Oh, this is my spiritual advisor, and he be all about the Black Lives Matter. He be always always on TV, huh? Jamal Bryant. Oh, y'all never heard of him. Oh. Well, that's a Thub thing. But very rich, very big mega church pastor, man. Millionaire. He got caught at least 3 to 4 times in different sexual immorality situations. Wow. And still going strong. It's not a big deal to Babylon, because that's Babylon. That's the ways of the nations. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so that's where we at, but that's a deception, because the scriptures is clear. Anybody who moves in there will not inherit the kingdom. They won't, man. Now, we're not talking about somebody who done it in the past. They repented, now they turned away, and they moving forward in Yahuwah and Yahusha. So don't go there with the don't go like that. But I'm talking about, the normal situation is that people say they repent, but they don't, because they go right back there and do it again. They'll go back there, right back and do it again. And they'll do it again and again, because they don't have the control to not do it. They just don't. You know why? Because they're not his. This is the reality, y'all. This is the reality. Those who are his, he gives them the power to be able to refrain. He does. Mm-hmm. What do y'all think it gives you the power, the things he's putting in you to enable you to move on the level of righteousness that's way above and beyond what you're going to see from any of the other nations.
Yes, sir.
And so stuff that we don't understand, no, they really don't, like the nations, they don't have the ability, they don't have the control to be able to not just move in that whenever the temptation comes. You see what I'm saying? Because the real test is when the temptations come. We're not talking about, weird Timmy who, never, just, girls just didn't really like him like that, okay? You know what I'm saying? And so he don't get involved with that, because he just don't, that's just not something that he has to deal with. We're not talking about that. But if you were tested and tried, and you're strong enough to be able to be like Joseph, he ran.
You got out of there.
The scriptures say Joseph was extremely handsome. He was just like he had a supernatural beauty to him that Most High gave him. So the females liked him. Well, Joseph, man, he refrained from sexual immorality. He was strong with that. Yep. He was very trusted. He was Kodesh. Y'all listen, the woman that he ran from, this was a noble's wife. Potiphar was like a nobility of Mitzrayim. So you know she was beautiful. You know she was. And for him to be strong enough to just be like, oh, nah. The scriptures say that she was trying to get at him for a long period of time. And he would always curb her and be like, oh, no, I ain't finna do that. No. And then there was one time when he was by himself. That's when the big event happened where he just had to run. He had to run. And I really believe he didn't, I believe when he ran, it wasn't because like she was trying to like force it on him or nothing like that, which she was, but I don't think she would be stronger than him or something, you know. Yeah. But I submit to you, he probably ran because it was a major temptation for him. Hallelujah. And he was wise enough to just, man, I just got to get out of here.
Get up out of there.
I got to get out of this situation.
Right. Got to go.
That's why the scriptures say flee from sexual immorality. You know they got that. That was from Torah. That was from Joseph. When Paul said flee from sexual immorality, I submit to y'all, he's referring to Joseph. He's referring to Torah. All right, anyway, let's keep going. We're going to get through this. Hebrews chapter 13.
Yeah, it was Joseph and Absalom.
Oh, Absalom, not Dawood. My bad. Joseph and Absalom. That's who it was.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he was David's son.
That was David Sawee's son, though. Yeah. Told
Ruddy, yeah, it says David too, though. Yeah, ruddy and handsome.
Said he was ready, but it said, okay, it did say that.
I
Oh,
think
so it was
so,
them
yeah.
three then.
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
snap. Okay.
Yeah, ruddy and handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably looked like his daddy, yeah.
Yeah. That's wild, man. Let's skip this one. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. We're going to read verse 3 through 5.
Right, everybody there?
1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 3, and read it through 5.
For this is the will of Allure, your sanctification.
So that means that sanctification is like you being set apart, the process of being holy, of being Kodesh, sanctification. Go ahead.
That you should abstain from sexual immorality.
That's what it does. That's how you do it. That's how you be Kodesh. Keep going.
That each of you should know how to possess his own vessel in sanctification and honor.
Right. Keep going.
Not in passion of lust like the Gentiles.
Not in passion of lust like who?
The Gentiles.
Who what?
Who do not know Allure.
So when we're reading this, you notice that this is almost lined up with what we were reading in Leviticus 20, that, hey, I need you to abstain from this because this is what the other nations do, and I don't want to, that I'm casting out before you. All right. So let's look at the word for sexual immorality here. So the word for sexual immorality here is what? Some of y'all got the blue letter Bible. One of y'all do.
Verse 3.
Pornea, Toda. So the other one was pornos. This one is pornea. You know, they related to each other. It's just like, you know, porno, like pornography, stuff like that. And so if you look at how it was used in the Septuagint, because what we want to do, we want to see what this word was in Torah. What was the word pornea, the Greek word? What was the parallel word for that in Torah? You know, the Torah wasn't in Greek, so if you use a Greek lexicon, it'll show you at least what they used in the Septuagint when reading the Torah, as far as where pornea was used in the Septuagint in the Old Testament. Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And what you will find is that the word for porneia in the Torah, in Hebrew, porneia in Hebrew is the word zananim. I just put the root word zana here, but it's zananim. Zananim, which means harlotry or fornication. That's the root word, zana. It's just zana plural. So that's basically the word, the Hebrew word for fornication. That's a zan, noon, and hey. So, when y'all want to take a shot at it? Not leadership though. Let's see what one of the mishpaga. Anybody want to take a shot at the meaning of the breakdown for this? Nathaniel, let's get it. Go ahead.
Mike.
Oh, okay.
Cutting the seed off from the revelation.
Dang, that's real through. I like that. So, y'all get why you say that. So the zan is a harvesting tool. It's a cutting tool. It could also be a weapon. The noon, that's the seed, or can mean to continue or perpetually. Then we have the hay, that can be the revelation. That can mean revelation. That can mean the ruach. It can also mean like praise. You know, that's why he has his hand like praise or worship. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. We got sister over here. Go ahead, Shannon.
I got harvesting the seed based off of Revelation.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, you only gotta that's all you gotta do like that.
I got to cut the seed from the ruach.
Oh, that's a through one. So that's close to what I had. Oh, go ahead. Let's see what you got. Yeah, so that's pretty close to what I got. Yeah. See, I knew on the leadership was gonna get it. They be having my mind down pretty good. But it's a weapon against the seed and against revelation. So when you talk about harlotry and fornication, it's a weapon against the seed and against revelation. Another way to look at this is that it's a weapon against the seed and against praise and worship. Because y'all know that praise is like a weapon. And so one way that the enemy will try to fight against that is use his weapon, and that's to get you into sexual immorality. Let's see if I can just get one of the mishpach into sexual immorality. Oh yeah, that'll cut down their whole praise and worship. That'll cut down their whole. They won't be getting all that revelation. They won't be getting that. Yeah, when Malek said that fornication is the number one enemy against the kingdom, man, let me tell you, it's even in the word. It's literally a weapon against the seed and against the revelation or against the word. It's literally a weapon against us. Go ahead, Eamon. Oh, man, I need you on your job, son.
What just came to me was the cutting away of revelation from the seed.
Yeah, that's the. So it's a weapon against the seed and against worship. It's a weapon against the seed. I remember Malek had taught this to me, and it really, I started to know, like, man, when you, like, during praise and worship, if you see somebody who has a hard time getting into it, especially if they just haven't been getting into it over a long span of time, let's say over months, there's this one person, they you know, the Ruach be there and they not, you know, they doing like this. Everybody crying, and you know, y'all think about the time earlier today when Ruach was just full and everybody was crying out. But then you got somebody in the midst of all that, they're like, what time is it though? I mean, how long this been? You know, and doing like this. And always going to the bathroom. They go to the bathroom. That is a sign that there's something that's something that's blocking them from being able to receive the Ruach. That they done did something. They might have done something. They might have got into some sort of sexual immorality. Might be struggling with, you know, maybe pornography or something like that. Because see, again, pornography is another thing that we didn't think that was sexual immorality. Well, literally the word for that is pornos. And so you have people in the assembly, they think they through because they ain't commit adultery or they didn't lay with somebody, but they steeped in the pornography. And so they come in here and it be a blockage. They can't receive the Ruach. They're not really into the praise and worship, man. They can't really get there. And when you see that, that's a telltale sign of maybe something that they got into, some sort of iniquity, especially some sort of like sexual iniquity. You know what I'm saying? Because it literally, like, it's a weapon against that. It's a weapon against revelation. It's a weapon against the seed. Go ahead, you had something?
Yep, I was just gonna say what just came to my mind was Balaam and Balak, how he couldn't even curse the Israelites. Like, he had called them to come curse the Israelites, and he couldn't curse them until he got them to commit sexual immorality.
He didn't have no weapons.
And Yahuwah was so mad about that he had, wasn't that them? Yeah, he had Moshe and them go and sack the whole nation of Moab for that. Killed everybody. Infuriated Yahuwah. I'm telling y'all, man, sexual immorality, man, look, that is not no small thing. I know we can look at it as small because we've been so immersed with it in Babylon. Why? Because Babylon is the other nations. That's the ways of the other nations.
Right. It's been draining.
Like, listen, y'all. That's one of those things you gotta abstain from at all costs. You gotta guard your body. Don't put yourself in any situations that can open you up to that. Don't think you're too strong that you can't get caught slipping. If Joseph had to run, oh, but
Flesh is weak.
you think you strong, so you going to having one-on-one meetings with Akio. That's not even in the truth. You going to their house, gonna show them the truth. My coworker, man, she real cool. Now I'm just going and trying to bring that truth to her. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna do nothing. I ain't finna. No.
Trying to enlighten
I
us.
ain't about to do nothing. Man, look, man, you crazy. Because you,
Flesh is weak, yeah.
number one, that can flow into pride if you think you're so strong. Like, you stronger than Joseph. You stronger than Solomon. You stronger than everybody, huh? You can just be in some vulnerable situation like that. You just gonna be like, no. That's through if you're able to do that, but you don't put yourself in a position like that, because especially if you start veering on the pride, the Most High will allow you to he'll give you over to it.
Yep.
It's another thing if it's a situation that you just can't control that came up, and then you do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But this stuff is real, especially y'all younger. Man, look, y'all, man, all of y'all are starting to work. Radai Yahoo just got a new job. Hallelujah.
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 Zamar is working on them cars. All praise to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Hezekiah at the CVS.
Hezekiah.
Oh, are getting there? Are working on it? Yeah. What else? Pharmacy. Yirmiyahu at that Kalahari.
Hallelujah.
Zaria is at the Typhoon, Texas. Everybody done got jobs all at the same time. That's powerful though. Everybody, Yahuwah's opening these doors.
That's right.
But you got to understand, your coworkers don't know this walk.
Temptation.
Huh? Kaya, she been working at Ebri though. That's why I didn't call you. You always be on top of your game. You be on top of it. About the road been working, so y'all through though. I'll call that y'all doing y'all thing. Praise Yahusha. But it's for all of y'all. Especially the young mishpaga. So, the roar, Al Kalesh, the sons. Your co-workers ain't in this walk. They not in this walk.
Got to watch. Got to watch.
Old people too? You right though. You're right. Okay. Hey, look. Older people.
Yeah.
Look, man.
They be looking too, huh?
You get to when you work. I'm telling y'all that was I can't say that was my biggest temptations was coworkers, but it was up there. It was at the top 5.
That's real.
For real. Because when you work with these people, you with them all day, so you get to know these people. And then what happens is, you get one of them coworkers, they start sharing too much with you. You with them all day. Some of these people, you literally, based on the job, you might have to literally be like right by them all day. Like at the job I had, there was, we were sitting down with, we like this. Call center. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, you get Quisha. Sitting right here. She's sitting right here. And you with her all day, and y'all just be chopping it up, just killing time. You know how it is at work. You just got to kill. You chopping it up all day, and now y'all become cool. Yeah. And next thing you know, oh yeah, I'm finna go to lunch. You wanna come with me? No. You like, well, it is a lunch break. Why not? Now you riding with her to go to the Wendy's. Because y'all young, y'all not going nowhere expensive. Y'all going to the McDonald's, the Mickey D's drive-through with her to get some food. The next thing you know, oh yeah, when I get off, I'm going over to the happy hour over. Yeah, you gonna come? Y'all wanna come?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Like that's how it be. And now you tempted with this girl. Don't know nothing about the Most High. She 18 and got about 20 bodies on her. This is reality. I know that's. I mean, it's reality though, for real. For real, because this is Babylon. You Kodesh. You Kodesh, so you a virgin. And you entertaining this person, man, the same age as you, 18, 19. They got about 25 on them. And they looking at you as meat.
That's real.
They moving in for the kill. It's a weapon against the seed. They don't know, but it's a whole ruach behind them that's behind this thing. For real. Yeah. For real. And you got to be strong enough. See, some of y'all, especially the boys, Akio, y'all a little bit stronger when it comes to this. I can definitely see Deroy. I feel like Deroy, she'll be all right with this part. But y'all got to be able to tell these girls now. Y'all gotta be all right with them being mad at you. You gotta know it. Have y'all ever had the curve of a female before? Do it. Stand up. Nah, I ain't finna do all that. Nah. Hey, can I get your number? Nah, I don't give female my number now. You know, we just say, look, this just a work thing. You get what I'm saying? It's all, you know, we cool, but hey, this just a work thing. You get what I mean? That's it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta be like that, for real. Y'all gotta be strong like that. And just be able to tell them, now, go head on somewhere. Just think about this, dog. Have you ever told someone who you were attracted to, who you thought was beautiful, to go head on somewhere? Nah, you don't want to do that because you really kind of like the attention on the cool. You really kind of like it on the cool, and so you kind of. Yeah, no, curve them. They gonna get mad. They might try to say something crazy. Oh well, look here. You just passed the test. Most High will mess around, give you some sort of ascension for doing that.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
For real.
You passed the test.
All right, y'all. So another word that I want y'all to look at is y'all looking at it too deep. Let's do Ephesians. Did we do Ephesians 5? Let's do Ephesians 5. Y'all wild. Ephesians 5, let's do verses 3 through 5 as I can.
Yes, sir. Everybody there? But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not even be named among you.
No, let's skip this one. Let's go to Galatians 5. We kind of already covered that. Let's go to Galatians 5. And we're going to go to verse. Y'all don't go there. I'm going to just read it real quick. I want you to go to Colossians 3, but I'm going to read Galatians 5:19. It says, now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contentions, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envy, murders, drunkenness, revelries, and the like, of which I tell you beforehand, just as I told you in times past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of Eluah. So this was just Paul reiterating what he had said before. But he added a little bit more details to it. Colossians 3, verse 5. Let's read that.
Colossians 3, verse 5. Therefore put to death your members which are on the earth, fornication, uncleanness, passion, evil desire, covetousness, which is idolatry.
So covetousness is you basically desiring other people's stuff, but especially another person's woman or another person's wife. That's the big covetousness right there. That's in the 10 Commandments. Do not covet your neighbor's wife, or your neighbor's husband too. That goes both ways now. Verse 6. Because what?
Because of these things, the wrath of allure is coming upon the sons of disobedience.
So it's because of these things there's judgments coming up on the earth. So it's the people who are refraining from those things who will be preserved from the judgments. You see what I'm saying? The people who are partaking in these things, because it's the nations who partaking in these things, and we know that Yahuwah is executing judgment on the nations. But it says, therefore, put to death your members. It's about dying to self. It's about dying to self. I know that's been something that's been mentioned a lot. So, Bakir Ezra Hadassah made a great point about Balak and Balaam and how the way that they was able to curse Israel was by getting them to go commit sexual immorality with those women. There's another example in the book of Bamidbar in the book of Numbers with Pinchas. Y'all remember with Pinchas? So this is associated with Balak and Balaam. Yeah, it's the same event. I'm tripping. So what Balak and Balaam happened, let's go to Numbers 25 real quick. We're running through this. Numbers 25. Verses 7, and we're going to read through 13. Let's get it.
Now when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her body. So the plague was stopped among the children of Israel.
Y'all get what's happening here? So the Israelites were moving in fornication. And there was, read verse 6. Just read verse 6 real quick.
And indeed, one of the children of Israel.
Wrong one. No, that's it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My apologies.
And indeed, one of the children of Israel came and presented to his brethren a Midianite woman in the sight of Moshe.
This was in the sight of Moshe. Y'all keep that in mind. So this was happening in the sight of Moshe. Keep going.
And in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel.
Who were doing what?
Who were weeping at the door of the tabernacle of meeting.
They're at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Where's the door of the tabernacle of meeting at? Don't you got to go inside the gates to be at the door of the tabernacle of meeting? So what this is showing is that they were at the tabernacle committing this fornication act. Yeah, so then Pinchas or Phinehas came and thrusted him through and killed him for doing that. Because when you're within the gates of the tabernacle, you're under the jurisdiction of the priest. If they were outside somewhere else doing that, it wouldn't have been under the priest's jurisdiction to put them to death. You see what I'm saying? According to when you read Numbers in the Torah, if someone trespasses in that way in the tabernacle, you're supposed to put them to death. And the person who has the ability, who has the authority to administer capital punishment if someone commits an offense like that is the priest. This is why Pinchas did that. He did it out of obedience to the Most High, obedience to Torah. That's why the Most High made a covenant of peace with us. Covenant of peace with him? Covenant of salt with him when he did that. Yeah, this is something Malek brought out that I thought was huge, Malek Yahusha. Because see what the Moabites were doing, why were they trying to lay with each other at the tabernacle? The other nations do temple prostitution, y'all. That's normal. The other nations, they so this is what Malek brought out about this. So we always knew that, right? We always knew that, but what Malek Yahusha was bringing out is how they were doing this to try to produce a certain type of seed. So you had this temple harlotry going on. Like the strip clubs is kind of a shadow of what was going on in ancient times with the temple prostitution and stuff, where with the pole, that's the, like the Asherah pole and them things like that. It was based off of. There was a lot of these other allures were rooted in sexual immorality, y'all. A lot of these other allures they worshipped were rooted in sexual immorality. And so what they would do, it was part of their worship to move in like this great levels of perversion. And so they would have it to where, they're at the temple and they're doing all these crazy sex acts and stuff like that, like multiple people laying with women, all these, and it was part of their worship. It was the way they worshiped their allure. You know why? Because that's the ways of Sheol. That's the ways of Sheol. That's the ways of Hasatan, perversion, sexual immorality. The other nations is Sheol according to the scriptures, right? The places where Yahuwah scattered us, y'all understand that part, right? Yes. According to Ezekiel, according to different scriptures, the places where Yahuwah scattered us is called Sheol or hell. That's hell, or the grave. That's why he said, I'm gonna regather you from your graves and bring you back into the land that I set apart for you, and all those two different scriptures like that. The places where we scattered is Sheol. And so sexual immorality is the ways of Sheol, the ways of the other nations. So a lot of aspects. So these other allures, they were all the seed of Hasatan, they're the seed of the serpent, as far as Ruach. The reason why they had these systems set in place was to produce a certain type of seed. You ever wonder why we were so messed up as a people? It's because we were giving over so much to sexual immorality. Why was family so broken up here? Well, a lot of us came through single mother households. Our mothers birthed us through fornication or something, or adultery, different things like that. And so then we come out, epigenetics be all thrown out. We be having all kind of issues and all kind of ruachs that we dealing with now. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way that we was brought forth. You have abortion. That goes back to sacrificing your children to Molech. That's lined up with that too, because again, they were also literally, sacrifice their children to these allures for a fortune. They believed there were blessings that would come for doing that. That's what that's a shadow of what you get from abortion. So, a lot of people that get abortion because they feel like they'll do a lot better off financially. They'll be blessed more if they just go ahead and do this thing. You see what I'm saying? If I have this child, oh man, I'm not going to be able to travel like I used to. I'm not going to be able to. So in order to free up my life to be able to have a better life, I'm going to have this abortion. You see what I'm saying? Right. That goes back to how, it's a shadow of how it was in ancient times. They would sacrifice their children because they thought in turn they would get these blessings. That's why when you look at the abortion system, a lot of it is you get the rich witches and warlocks doing that stuff. What do they do with the aborted fetuses? You see what I'm saying? Don't nobody know, right? Yeah, this a whole ritual. What'd you say? Yeah. It's a whole ritual. It's sorcery. That's what it is. He said they put it in medicine. That's pharmakia. That's sorcery. That's translated as sorcery in English. So, nevertheless, there's nothing new under the sun. We read about this stuff in the scriptures. We think, oh, that was back then. Oh, yeah, no, that was back then. No, it's the same Ruach, the same Hasatan who had them doing that stuff back then. You don't think? I mean, it's the same person. Just puts a different face on it, maybe.
Pulling out all stops, yeah.
Maybe make it look a little differently. It's the same thing.
Same old game.
So, then you have this seed that comes out, and it's just this whole generations and generations of people giving over to perversion and wickedness, giving over to abominations and idolatry. They're giving over to all these things because it was deliberately done. It was deliberately put in them from birth. So now you have the flip side. See, this is what the Most High was doing since day one. This was a big aspect of it. What the Torah was about is producing Kodesh seed. And so now you have a people who have refrained from sexual immorality, a people who don't deal with none of that, a people who are moving according to righteousness, according to the Most High, and then they're having children who are being birthed through in that environment. And now you have what the Malex was talking about, these super babies. You get little King Josiah's coming out, you know, able to lead a nation at the age of 8. Yeah. Yeah. Yahusha himself, Yahusha HaMashiach, Yahuwah didn't have Yahusha get born through anybody. Yahuwah had Yahusha be birthed through Miriam and Joseph, which was a house who was devoted to Yahuwah and to Torah. Right. We know that because even after Yahusha was birthed, they went and they did the sacrifices they supposed to do according to Torah. They did all those things. We're showing you how devoted they was. They were talking about when he was 13, man, they was traveling up to go keep the Pesach. Yahuwah they wasn't even rich. Mm-hmm. See, most of us, if we had the choice of where we're going to have our son to be, what family to come through, I want them to be well off and comfortable. Had them go through one of the Pharisees or somebody who's rich. This Pharisee, he righteous though. He through, you know what I'm saying? Let him go through there. That family, that way he'll be well off and at least comfortable.
Got some money.
No, Miriam and Joseph, man, they was very common people. They were common folk that dwelled amongst the common folk. That's why Yahusha was so relatable to the common people. That's why he was able to go and minister to the downtrodden, the poor, and then at the same time go hard against the rich. Because the Most High knew what he was doing. He had them birthed through a very humble home, very humble beginnings, even where he came from. Like the city he came from, it was like, man, is anything coming? What? You know, where are you from again? No. My Messiah, no, he need to be born and raised in Jerusalem. Nah. You say yeah. Came from one of the small towns, humble beginnings. And so that's the contrast. You have sexual immorality is going to cause, it's basically, I don't even know if we'll ever be able to be a nation with, if we continue in sexual immorality. It just wouldn't work. And then you got the contrast, being Kodesh, being set apart, bringing forth these Kodesh children who ain't gonna be able to have to deal with none of the stuff we had dealt with growing up. You know, whose mindset gonna be different, perspective gonna be different, be moving in Yahuwah and Yahusha. Be having capabilities like no other. Man, they said Yahusha, when he was 13, he was out there mid-ration with the Pharisees in Pesach. They lost him. His parents lost him. His parents literally went like 2-3 days journey before they realized that he was gone. So that means they had to turn around. Like, Yahusha was a super seed, y'all. This was when he was 13. Like, could y'all imagine? Because, you know, when they think about it, y'all, in ancient Israel, they traveling days' journey to keep Pesach. So you know they're going with a whole entourage. I know because I have several children, so I know how it is when you with the whole family, the mishpacha. You know, my son might be somewhere. I know he probably with a Cody so-and-so or something, and you just going on, you know. Sukkot, you be like, you might see your children once or twice that day. They out with a Cody so-and-so, or Ox so-and-so, or they out there doing their thing. So that's probably how it was. They was traveling back. And you go with an entourage. They probably had, you know, everybody who they grew up with, everybody from there, they probably go together. So, you know, so it's safer that way. And they probably thought Yahusha was with one of the Akim or something. And after 2 or 3 days, man, y'all seen Yahusha? You ain't seen him, Yahusha? No, I thought he was with you. What you? No, you telling me you ain't seen him? No, I ain't seen him. He probably over there with a Cody so-and-so or something. Go check him. Go to Cody so-and-so. Oh, no, I ain't. Thought he was with y'all. They had to turn around, y'all. Go back another 3-day journey. 2-3 days, I can't remember. It was days, though. And they found him, he was midrashing with the Pharisees. Bringing out that word, and they were astonished by his great wisdom. They were astonished. Yeah.
That sounds like resurrection to me. He was gone for 3 days, and there you go. He popped up on the 3rd day.
Man, that's deep, though. That's a crazy revelation, though, Eve. I'm going to have to look to see if it was really 3 days, because that's crazy. That's a crazy revelation. Because he was 13, too. So hebraically, that's the number 3, too, when you look at that. Yeah. But his response was, Mama, you know, I'm just doing my father's business. Got to be about my father's business. It was something along those lines. So let's go to Numbers. Let's go to 1 Kings 14, verse 24. Chapter 14 and verse 24.
Yes, sir. Everybody there? Heard 2 cons. Okay, we all right? 1 Kings 14 and 24, verse 24. Y'all through?
Start with verse 22 and read through verse 24.
Verse 22. Now Judah did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and they provoked him to jealousy with their sins, which they committed, more than all that their fathers had done. For they also built for themselves high places, sacred pillars, and wooden images on every hill and under every green tree.
And look at verse 24. Go ahead.
And there was also perverted persons in the land. They did according to all the abominations of the nations which Yahuwah had cast out before the children of Israel.
So these are people that were involved with perversion, people that were probably doing like the temple prostitution, doing those things like that were in the land. You can't have nobody like that in the land, because that'll affect the whole nation. Go to chapter 15 and read verse, the next chapter, and read verse 12. Start with verse 11. Read verse 11 through 12.
Sir, sir. Asa did what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah, as did his father Dawid. And he banished the perverted persons from the land and removed all the idols that his fathers had made.
So that's the contrast. So Asa, he said he kicked them out.
Mm-hmm. Got all of that.
He loved Yahuwah's judgments.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So another word for that I want y'all to look at that's surrounded around sexual immorality is shekobet. Shekobet, and you'll see that in Vayikra chapter 20. For an example, was H7903, so that makes it easy. You can just put that in. I can put it in real quick. (20) verse 15 is one example.
Leviticus 20 and 15. If a man mates with an animal, he shall surely be put to death, and you shall kill the animal. If a woman approaches any animal,
Leviticus 18:20s. Bakir Aluf.
18:20.
Yeah, Leviticus 18 verse 20.
Oh God. Moreover, you shall not lie carnally with your neighbor's wife, to defile yourself with her. And you
So
shall.
that word for a lie or to lay with, this is referring to sexually, is shekobet. Okay, shekobet is the breakdown is to separate the covering. I'm just gonna go ahead and go right into it. It's to separate the covering of the daughters according to the covenant. So it's to separate. So sheen can mean to distinguish, to discern, to separate the cut, the covering. That's the kaf. The hand. It can mean to cover. It can mean to give. It can mean to bless. It can mean to receive. So it's to separate the covering of the daughters. That's the bed, which is mean the house, and also can mean the womb, and also has the connotation of a daughter. So it's to separate the covering of the daughters based on the covenant, according to the covenant. To separate the covering of the daughters according to the covenant. And so one thing that this does is it distinguishes who's a through covering and who's not. To separate the covering of the daughters according to the covenant. You even have daughter in this word. You have bat right here. Yeah, you got bat right there. And then you even have shok, which is that's thorn, or like to prick, a thorn. That's supposed to be bot, but I don't know how I forgot to put the actual pictograph Hebrew in there. I forgot everything on there. But the bet tav, you can see at least that, but I got that part on there right. So you got bot, daughter, and you got shek, which is a thorn. Or the prick. So you can also look at this from like a compound word perspective, that in a sense it's a way to it's like a thorn or to prick your daughters in a bad way, like to try to hurt your daughters. And here's an example of shek. It says in Bemidbar 33, it says, but if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land, those you allow to remain will become what? That word barbs, that's shek, in your eyes, and thorns in your side. They will give you trouble in the land where you will live. Y'all remember when Paul said that there was a thorn in his side and nobody knew what it means? Everybody guessed what it meant. But it's in Torah. What the thorn in his side is probably is, because it says it right here. The thorn in your side is probably related to shekobet. Because see, according to Numbers 33, it says, but if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land, those you allow to remain will become barbs in your eyes. Why is that? Could it be because they don't be modest? Could it be because they're going to cause your sons and daughters to be tempted to commit sexual immorality?
Yes, sir.
Cause your sons and daughters to turn away. Isn't that what it said in Deuteronomy 7? So the thorn in your side probably has something to do with sexual immorality. So when Paul said he had that thorn in his side to keep him humble, it makes sense that it could be associated with that. Not saying he committed anything on that. anything like that. But that it was a thorn in his side, that it might have been a struggle or maybe some sort of temptation, just some issue dealing with the other nations, dealing with these Gentiles who was into all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Said they will give you trouble in the land where you live. So in Revelation 21, y'all are familiar with this verse. But we already saw it with Shaul. He said that people who are involved in sexual immorality will not enter the kingdom of Eluah. So then it's confirmed in Revelation here by Yachanan. It says, but the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the who? Those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. In other words, they in Sheol. So it makes sense that the Sheol here on earth, which is the places where we were scattered, well, all these things is going to be prevalent there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Rebirth of a nation. Hebrew kingdom building.